OOP's MIL is constantly overstepping boundaries plus bonus SIL. MIL said to my husband that I'm controlling, lazy, and spoiled. Parents-in-law are staying with us for 3 weeks before they move into their new place. It's their first time moving next to us, so it's a huge adjustment. MIL emphasized so many times that she wants me to take it easy, sleep as much as I want, do what I want, and take advantage of their help. So I have. I've been sleeping in and letting them take him for the morning. I have been taking frequent breaks and not cooking as much. And still, she encouraged me, so I gratefully took her up on the offer. I found out today that she sat down and talked to my husband while I wasn't there to get some things off her chest. She said he was doing all the work and that I wasn't doing anything. I'm being lazy and taking advantage of him financially to take care of us. He spoils me too much, and I'm controlling him. I'm extremely upset. How can she say this after telling me to take it easy? It was obviously incredibly stupid of me to think it would be any different. Now I feel extremely sad. She also said she wished I would just leave my son with them more often, and leave the house so that they could spend more time with him. Which is what I thought I was doing by letting them hang out with him in the morning when I sleep in and in the afternoons when I get to sit down for a bit. Not to mention we spent the whole last weekend out with friends with him in their care while an out-of-town friend came to visit us. Clearly, that wasn't enough time either. I have no idea how to feel or what to do in their presence anymore. I feel like I'm being watched now. I feel like I can't enjoy myself anymore. And now I feel reluctant to leave my son in their care. So what do they want me to do? Do all the cooking and cleaning and cater to their every need while they spend all their time playing with me, leaving no time for me to enjoy my son myself. He's only 2 and growing so quickly, of course. I want to relish in his every moment, even if it seems like the little things. Please leave advice. I don't know how to go forward. My husband defended me, but that doesn't change the fact that this is what they think about me. I can't explain why MIL gets on my nerves. Nothing she does is inherently bad, but I still can't stand her. Is it like a biological thing? Because she's not my own mother, she's just another woman. I'm trying so hard to understand my own feelings. Long story short, my in-laws moved 5 minutes away from us a few months ago, around late summer. They used to live far away and only saw them twice a year on holidays. And I enjoyed that. We had a courteous relationship. We didn't get on each other's nerves. I think they had a pretty positive opinion of me because they didn't really know me well. They just saw me as positive and upbeat, very polite and gracious. I liked that they were further away and had no influence on my baby growing up. They have very boomer tendencies that I have tried very hard not to do. A simple example is that I did not overuse the word be careful with my baby and allowed him the space and freedom to explore his surroundings without fear. But whenever they saw him, they would literally shield him from things and helicopter him. But whatever. I only saw them twice a year, so I could live with it. But now, I see them literally every day, and I feel like I could end. I don't want to see my MIL every day. She drops by maybe 4 times a week, most of the time extremely randomly and unannounced. And she has the code for our door, so she will give a courtesy doorbell ring before letting herself in. A lot of the time she is bringing over some food for us, which I obviously appreciate, but her cooking is also very bland and almost always unseasoned. But I can't say anything about that. I always take the food graciously and tell her it's good if she asks, but it's extremely disruptive to my routine and day. And disruptive to our toddler. He absolutely loves seeing her, so he gets extremely hyped to see her but also extremely upset when she leaves. And I hate having to deal with the fallout when she's only dropping by for a few minutes. Sometimes she will call when he's at daycare and ask if she can take him out for the day. I remind her he's at daycare, and she quickly apologizes and hangs up, but forgets and does it again a few weeks later. She's also supposed to be teaching him a second language, which she agrees to, so I am constantly reminding her to speak to him in a different language. But she constantly mixes it up with English, which defeats the purpose. I wish she would leave me alone and that we would just have a pre-planned dinner, like once a week. But the problem is they don't know anyone here, and are retired, so her only existence and reason to live right now is to be a grandma to my son. We are literally their only social interaction. Another feeling I can't squash is a feeling of jealousy. The reason why I don't like spending time with her and my toddler together is because, since he loves her so much, he wants nothing to do with me when he's with us and only wants to play with and be held by grandma. It makes me feel so jealous, and I don't know why. I should be happy. The same thing happens with my mom, but I'm so happy to see them interact, play, and form a bond. Is it because it's my own mom versus my MIL? Right now, she's been away for almost a full month due to family emergency, and honestly, it's been so nice. I don't feel on edge, wondering if she will be randomly dropping by. My toddler seems better behaved now that she's not around. Our routines have stayed consistent. I get to eat my own food that I have planned and prepped for. I can take him out on adventures without feeling guilty that I should be inviting grandma. Whenever my husband FaceTimes her to talk to our toddler, I literally have to go to a different room and hide because I hate hearing her speak. It's bad. I don't know what's wrong with me. I want her to stay away forever and go back to how it was. I think she's supposed to come back soon, and it's filling me with dread. Also, I'm expecting another baby soon, and the idea of them being regular figures in her babyhood fills me with dread. I just think they will be a bad influence on her. I guess I am very controlling. But I've done so much research, read so many books, and talked to so many people to inform myself on the best ways to raise my baby, and I don't want anyone interfering with it. Especially because I can't just harp on them for every little thing they disagree with. People would say, be grateful for the village that you have, but honestly, I don't want it. I love the little bubble that is me, my husband, and my babies. I guess I don't know what the point of this post is. To vent. To hear if anyone feels similarly. Tips on how to change my feelings like it or not. I think they are sticking around forever. How do I manage this source of stress in my life? Is it possible to draw a line where I only see them once a week? Maybe the solution is that the next apartment they live in shouldn't be 5 minutes away to deter her from dropping by frequently unannounced. What do I do? Notable comments. The user asks if her husband's a mom's boy. OOP. He's definitely not a mommy's boy. He actually really dislikes his parents and struggled massively with their move here. He was so aggravated that he shut down for the first few weeks. His defense mechanism growing up with them was to completely shut down and not talk to them and stonewall them. So unfortunately that response is a little built into him, so he doesn't talk to them very much. He would prefer to ignore the issue. He is very good at listening to my preferences. I just haven't voiced these recent concerns because I don't want to overdo it and make him think I hate his parents. Update. So I mentioned she was away for a while, and I was building up a plan for creating boundaries. She got back this weekend, and here's how it went. I had my husband call her after she arrived to make sure she got picked up by Phil and got home safely. I also told him to make a plan on the phone for when to meet so we would know when to expect her, and to also tell her to text before she wants to drop by. I hoped this would somewhat eliminate her random drop-ins. They decided she would drop by the next day around 4 p.m. after my son's nap to see him. He re-emphasized that she would text before coming. I was happy with this arrangement. The next day comes around, and she texts around 2 p.m. saying she will be dropping by with lunch and she will be there in 10 minutes. I immediately texted my husband because our son literally went down for a nap and didn't want to eat lunch and chat loudly, potentially waking him up. So husband texts back, please come back at 4, little one is still napping. She said it was too late. I already ordered food, I'll just drop it off. She drops off the food, and we chat at the doorway a little, and she says she will drop by later again to see our son. No specific time was mentioned, and she left before I could even say anything. She comes back later, around 5, and doesn't text to say she was coming, which she had been doing so well in the morning. She just shows up. I decided not to say anything then, just to tell her on her way out. She stayed a few hours playing, and we caught up, and it was relatively pleasant. On her way out, she says, okay, see you tomorrow, and I made it a point to say, he's in daycare tomorrow, let's plan to meet Thursday or Friday. Because at this point, it is already feeling like she wants to drop by every day again, like she used to. She agrees, and I also re-emphasize that you should text before coming because it makes me nervous when you just show up. She does. Why does it make you nervous? Kind of in a joking way, but said okay. So today I took it easy and dropped him off at daycare. I didn't clean up after myself because I thought I wouldn't be seeing SIL for a few days. She calls her husband and says she wants to drop by with the food she cooked. I tell him okay, but I tell her I'm napping and I don't want to see her. So she drops by around lunch with food, chats with my husband, and leaves. I think that's it. Later, I go to pick up my son from daycare, and we run some errands. I see on the ring that they have just let themselves in while no one is home. A few minutes later, my husband sent texts saying they needed help with something on their phone and dropped by. They would be waiting for my husband, who was about 15 minutes from home and also running his own errand. Immediately, I'm a little pissed. She is just back to her routine of coming around every day, multiple times a day, and using our code. I purposefully stayed out with my son until they left. I think, at this point, I know I need to just change the code. Ugh, why is it so hard for them? Final update. So, after my previous post, my SIL dropped by again the next morning before I could make any moves to talk to my husband about all this. She called me, but I was in the shower, so she called my husband, who said yes, you can drop by. Dropping off food again, obviously. She dropped by literally 10 minutes before I had to take my toddler to a class, and he was so upset he had to leave because he couldn't play with grandma. He cried the whole way I drove to class, and OMG, I called my husband. went ape SHT on him, and told him he had to tell her to stop coming by. That night we had a long talk, and he took our son over to their house for dinner, and she gave the perfect opening. She said, "Oh, I will drop by tomorrow because I cooked Zai's." And he said, "No, Mom, you can't come every day." And my Phil apparently jumped in and said, "See, he said you couldn't come every day. So maybe he's been sensing something too." Anyway, he told her he couldn't drop by whenever she wanted to anymore and that we would have one dinner and one play date a week. He said he would come by and pick up any food if she wanted us to have it. She was extremely hurt at first. On his way out, he was like, "Okay, so just let me know about whatever it is you cooked." And she was like, "No, forget it." But a couple of days later, when he called her up and asked if she wanted to do a playdate and she came, she had her food cooked and seemed normal again. And guys, it has been so nice. She has not dropped by unannounced a single time. I saw her for dinner last night, and I know I will not see her again until Friday, when she picks up my son for a morning play date. She has been handing off food during dinner, or when she comes to pick him up, so that's been really nice. She hasn't been snarky about it all. I think she genuinely did not understand she was doing anything wrong and needed the boundary to be said out loud. So happy ending here, and thank you guys for letting me vent and all the advice. Bonus quote about OOP's SIL. I don't know where to post this without sounding crazy and being judged, but my sister-in-law is crazy. I'm pretty convinced she has borderline personality disorder, but she refuses to seek out a diagnosis or treatment. My husband accepted this years ago and has maintained very low contact for the past couple of years now because he was tired of her constant lies and all of the problems she has caused for their family over the years. So this sounds so crazy, but her Chinese zodiac is a rabbit and she is a Gemini. My husband is so paranoid that we could potentially have a child like her that he wants to skip this month of TTC in order to avoid having a potential Gemini. This year is also the rabbit sign, and I'm kind of inclined to agree. I know it's all bullshit. But what if? I know I sound crazy. Should I really skip this month or keep going? Thank you for watching the video.